of all marriages between people of different races, up from the 3.2%, which was in the 1980s, according to Pew Research. So there hasn't been that much of an increase per se of interracial unions. I see a lot of interracial dating, but I'm not necessarily seeing a lot of interracial, like full blown interracial marriages, especially in the Midwest. It's kind of it's different, you know, and not different saying that because let's be real here, interracial dating is just dating, period. Okay, you know, you are dating someone culturally, and there are differences that way, but I think it's important for interracial couples to acknowledge that there are cultural differences, but at the same time it is important for interracial, you know, couples to understand that they are a couple just like anybody. Okay, and yes, you're going to be dealing with cultural differences, but I notice like in the geek community though, it's more accepting than in a lot of other subcultures that I have been involved in. I notice in the geek community, the sexy white cocoa, they don't care, you know. And sometimes they have a preference for like African women, or you know, African American women, you know, even women my complexion, even darker, you know. So that's something I've kind of like, my experience so far is I find that um, interracially for me, my I've just had a preference and gravitation pretty much towards like white guys and Asian guys, you know. And then when you say that, people automatically assume that you have some kind of fetish. And see, for me, I have no problem with black love, like none of that. You know, I don't. But the thing is, I just feel that it's time for women of color, and I'm talking African American, Latina, Asian, whatever, to know that they have options when it comes to someone caring about them. You know, I've noticed that women of color, statistically, still, we are very still closed minded about this. And the thing that is really sad to me, too, is when my own, you know, men of my own cultural group, you know, give me a hard time, you know, about it. And I would be just as open with them, you know, going out, because I see a lot of black guys, for example, going out with white women, you know, and I don't knock them for that. It's like, okay, my only thing is, and this is what, and it comes across the board, is that you are sincere when you are going for someone of a different cultural group. I you never ever, 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 ever. Of course. Oh, dang it. There we go. It's fighting to survive here. Boom. Okay. I don't know. Oh, that prick over here. Shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna get you, you little fool. Oh, he was a dick.
Barely.
Yeah, this really sucks.
Need help here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it, guys. I am not gonna make it. Alright, let me see here. Yep, eyes defeated. Dang it. There we go. Um. Okay, well. Alright. There's not much that I can do. It says return to a waypoint. Okay, so it says this is your world map. Left click and drag your mouse to a waypoint. Okay, so. Oh, that sucks. I didn't even. I should have gotten to that waypoint. Dang it. Well, that's not too bad. Okay, I'll come over here. Okay, I am making sure I get to that waypoint over there. That was dumb of me. So stupid of me to do that. Okay, so. Alright.
My sister's family is coming down from Shanghai.
Okay, so.
And risk getting robbed or worse?
I think. Let me talk to her. All right, got my armor all good here, I think. Let's see.
Come on, that's way too slow.
All right, let's see here. All right, let's sell my junk. I I don't think I need that. Rack club. Yeah, I think I'll be okay. All right, let's see. And all right, so that's my inventory. All right, so let's equip those. Okay, yeah, I should equip those because they're a lot better. Wait, let's see.
Come on, that's way too
Okay,
slow.
so those I should sell.
Lower my
See here. Oh, that's all I needed. Okay, I think we're good there. But yeah, kind of tying it back into the article in our juicy topic of the day too is here's the thing that's the author was talking about that was kind of ironic is this growing acceptance and prevalence of interracial marriages shows slowly but surely people are choosing life mates outside of their race and not conforming to the rigid standards of old. Unfortunately, in an ironic twist, this growing understanding creates a cult community of progressive who whose white guilt causes them to completely misconstrued relationships into a pseudo real life therapy session. Now, here's the other thing. We cannot, as people of color, continue to blame white people for intercultural problems. Okay? Now, in some cultures, there was a history of, like, for example, within, like, let's say African culture, and how the, European descendants, brought in colonization. But then after that, there was a lot of intercultural problems that were developed and a lot of cultural misappropriations that developed. So those are the issues within our communities that we have to resolve. It's very easy to blame another cultural group for a problem, you know and that's the same thing I see in the geek community too, is with, like, for example, geeks of color. A lot of times we will sit down and express or complain about the lack of people of color within the geek community when really there's not. It's just that we like to sometimes, and I'm just looking at it from my experience as a disclaimer here. I'm not speaking for every person of color, I'm speaking for myself. And what I see, honestly, is I see a lot of segregation. There are certain, geek communities are just for this particular ethnic group or that particular ethnic group. And if you want to do that, fine. But just remember that is the segregation that's continuing the problems. I'm not saying that you can't be proud of where you come from and what you identify as. That's cool, but I really feel to see growth in the geek community, especially from the topic we're talking about today, is that all that fetishization and all those things that we see that's common in interracial dating, that also applies in the geek community as well. It's like if you're a woman and you're a geek, that means you're bitchy and you're fat or you're ugly, or you're hypersexualized. And see, I was guilty of this. Like, sometimes when I see girls like, Casey Tron and stuff like that, they're really beautiful, and then sometimes I get pissed because I'm like, okay, I'm the regular girl, where do I fit in this community? But then I had to kind of take a step back and think of it and say, wait a minute, these girls who are quote unquote super beautiful, because remember, beauty is subjective as well as objective. um these girls also go through very tough struggles as well, and it's sometimes struggles that are unfair because they look a certain way. So that's something that I've kind of had to become more humbled and like open on, is the fact that you cannot jump to the conclusion when it comes um to viewpoints, and this is a topic in particular that people tend to uh, tend to do. The other thing I disagree with the author in regards to this particular post is the fact that people assume that the Kardashians are white. and that is incorrect. The Kardashians are Armenian, okay? So is Cher, for those of you who are Cher fans. I'm a huge fan of Cher too. But they are Armenian. So, that's a completely different culture. I just think that if you're fair skinned, that means you're white, or if you're dark, that means you're black. And there's no in between, and that's the same fetishization that happens in interracial dating and interracial relationships. And this is sometimes from the outside looking in, you know, and sometimes even the inside communities interracially, we have some fetishizations too, such as, for example, like, girls that are darker are seen more attractive, and then girls that are lighter are assumed to be white or quote unquote passable, which is a really, really ridiculous assumption. Or I'll tell you guys a story because I know story time is really huge on YouTube right now. So I will share, not because of that, but I'll share a story with you in regards to that fetishization and what I was referring to. So this is what happened. We have bears? What the? Oh, we have a juvenile brown bear. Okay. Not a regular bear, a juvenile brown bear. Okay. All right, so we have to continue doing this until I think we move somewhere different or something. Okay. So, all right, let's get these senators. There we go. Yep, getting it good. Oh, ooh, that forest bear is no joke. My gosh. Oh, these are completely different enemies now. Cause I remember it was centaurs, but now it's completely different. But let's get on to the story here. So, I for those of I like Asian guys. So, what happened was I ended up going to this conference. Oh, and the juvenile brown bear is fighting for us. Thank you, juvenile brown bear. I am appreciative of your fighting efforts. uh, okay, what's going on here? Oh no, jeez. I gotta get in on this action here. Okay, there we go. Whoa, like, this is crazy. What is going on here? Okay, well, thank you for healing me, oh good healer. Alright, here we go. I love co-op. Co-op is a lot of fun. Okay, I am not tolerating that mess. Okay, thank you, whoever that was. But no, so like I was going, I went to a conference and it was focused around like Asian issues or whatever. And then we went to this particular panel that was focusing on like relationships and sexuality or whatnot. And of course, I was sitting there and these Asian girls were all like, looking at me kind of weird. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was, who knows, culturally different. Maybe it was just something new. Who knows? But then as the discussion went along, I just noticed that they just kept like staring at me, and it was just like an unpleasant feeling. And the term for this, and some people it's called Asiophilia, is where some people have this like obsession with Asian culture or like Asian people, whether it's Asian men or Asian women or whatever. And I want people to know that there's a difference between a fetish and someone's preferences or things that people are attracted to, because it's sometimes, unfortunately, it's an unfair overlap, and people judge unfairly. And I think, to me personally, if you have preferences, there's nothing wrong with that. But I also think it's important to acknowledge that you are open to I would say you are open culturally, because what can happen is, like, for example, I noticed this with some like white guys, is that like if they like an African girl, then they try to, well, not all, but some of them will try to do everything it takes to be